Hello, this is Lee Hamilton. Today I'm going to be talking about the GeoMax Zipp 10R Pro. So step one is done. This first item is done. So in this case, we just created the job we're going to use, and now we need to set up a station and an orientation. This is a station and a back sight, but you can also use direction. You're probably used to that in the back sight menu. So it assumes that you're going to assume a direction. Even when you call it a back sight, it converts that into a direction, and we'll see that in a minute. So F2, we need to create our station first. I'm going to call this point number 1. I got to go back to numbers. I'm going to clear that entry. Point number 1, I'm going to hit enter, and then input station name. If I hit OK, it's going to tell me it's not there. Point not found. So what I need to do now is enter the northing, easting, and zenith. So I'm going to do that. Point number 1, hit enter, and then northing, I'm going to assume the 5,000 block. Enter, takes me down to the next line. 5,000 for easting, enter. I'm going to go 100 for elevation. The reason we use 100 is if I go below this point, if this is my highest point and I go lower than this and I use 0, then my elevations are going to become negative numbers, and sometimes negative numbers can be more of a challenge to work with out in the field, especially as later in the day and you start getting tired, your mind is tired. So if you start with 100, unless you know that you're going to be traversing through an elevation more than 100 feet, then you should be pretty good there with your elevations remaining in a positive block. So we're going to stay with 100 because my traverse is pretty short here. Hit enter, and then confirm the details. Notice there's no point, or there's no place in here for me to enter a code, so there will not be a code there. There's some limitation to that. Then the height of my instrument, which I've already measured and written down, 596.2. Enter. May hit OK. That's correct. Now my station is set. So now we have completed item 1 and item 2, and we need to complete item 3. So I'm going to use an angle for my first one because I'm assuming coordinates and I don't have a coordinate for my second point value yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is assume an angle. It's going to be point number 2. My height on my rod is 540. And my bearing is almost north, so I'm just going to call it north. So I'm going to call it 0. Now you see right here it says horizontal angle equals 0. That is not a circle set 0. That is an azimuth. Normally azimuth is HZ, but in this case it says horizontal angle, even though when you set that it is seeing that as azimuth north, magnetic north. Plus or minus your declination. So I just set my azimuth to 0 for point number 2. Now I've got to line up the gun, and then I can hit yes and take a measurement, and then my back sight will be set up. I'm all lined up, I'm locked down, my bearing is set to north. You know what, I think I can put a code here. If I hit enter, I can. So I'm just going to put set. I got to change this to alpha, clear it, set, switch back to numbers, 60, go back to alpha, D. Set of 60D nail is what I set. Hit enter. Now all of this is correct, so I'm going to hit yes. Now it's just set my back sight, and you'll notice that it's beeping. So what happens is, anytime you're on your back sight or you're on true north, not true north, azimuth north, when you're on your back sight at 0, it will start beeping. 4 degrees to the left, 4 degrees to the right, so 8 degrees total. As long as you're within that 8 degrees window of 0, it's going to beep. The same thing happens when you turn that gun to 90 degrees, 4 degrees on both sides of 90, to 180, and to 270. So it's just kind of a quadrant informant, if you will. So next I'm going to go to go. I'm going to shoot this again as point number 3. there. Whoops. Gotta get used to hitting the enter. I'm going to change this code. Set number 60 alpha D. Enter. I'm just going to check my lineup again. Get focused back in here. Now I'm ready to take a shot. So I'm going to take my first shot. It's got me lined up as my backside with north. And so I'm just going to hit all, and that's going to take the measurement. I can see I'm on prism already. So I'm going to hit all. It's taking the shot. It returned the shot, and it automatically stored it. So see, now I'm on point number 4. If you hit offset, this will take you into the angular offsets. I will tell you this, when you shoot with offsets, it's going to store 2 points. So let me turn this off. So when you shoot, normally when you do an angle offset, you put your prism next to the object like a telephone pole. The depth will be to the center of the pole, as from the perspective of the gun. So then when you shoot that prism, you're correctly shooting the depth of the center of that power pole, and then your second shot is actually not a laser shot, but you turn your gun to the center of the pole horizontally, and then it records both of those together as the coordinates for the center of that power pole, or whatever other object you're trying to angle offset. Normally that will store 1 point on other systems. It might be what you're used to. On this gun, it's going to store 2 points. So you're going to have that first distance shot with the angle measurement, and then your second shot will include the distance and the angle together being the center of the object that you're trying to shoot. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to make notes on your sketch or in your book. You can physically go in and delete them if you want. If you want to take the time to do that, if you got a lot of them, that can be cumbersome, but it is possible to delete. You just can't edit your points. Okay, so now I'm set up. I'm zeroed, but that is how you set up your instrument and assume coordinates and start locating.